Hey, good morning, everybody. It's 11:01, so I think we can now start the information webinar. I hope everyone's doing well. Just a couple of housekeeping things before we actually get going. This webinar is being recorded. If anyone has any issues, then please write in the chat and just let us know, and we will stop the recording. But just to let you know that this will be recorded and will be later posted on the Gatekeeper YouTube channel. As this is an information session, we really encourage you to ask any questions you have. Please write them in the question and answer function, and then at the end of the presentation, there'll be a period to reply to your questions. If it's quite a detailed question and you prefer to ask it live, then just raise your hand and I'll enable your microphone and we can do it like that, because sometimes it's easier to speak the question than it is to actually write it. Okay, so my job today is to explain to you, well, I'll provide some additional information on the Gatekeeper call for Twinnings, which was launched quite recently and will be running until the 18th of November. So let's just go back to the basics and really just see what we mean by a Gatekeeper twinning. So in the context of the Gatekeeper project, the twinning is a support mechanism to scale up the best practices and key outcomes from the Gatekeeper project to other regions in Europe. So the idea here is really to take what we've produced, created, learned in the Gatekeeper project and really share the knowledge with other interested organizations in Europe. So as part of a twinning, we always have an originator organization, which is where the best practice comes from. They are the partner with the knowledge to then share with an adopter organization. And the adopter is an organization that would be interested in taking on learning about the best practice from the originator. When we talk about adopter organizations, in the context of the Gatekeeper call, we are looking for any organization that manages, implements, or participates in the delivery of health and care services in Europe. We have left it quite open on purpose to encourage the participation from different organizations in Europe who participate in the delivery of health and care. Now, as we've mentioned, the knowledge transfer here in the twinning really generally, kind of traditionally, would move from originator to adopter. So it's the person sharing the best practice with the adopting organization. However, it's also, I think, good to highlight that every time you participate in a twinning, both parties learn something, you know, so there's also a transfer of information from the adopter to the originator. So if we move on, what different types of twinnings do we have? So in the Gatekeeper project, we can have one-to-one twinnings, so one Gatekeeper project partner and one external organization. We can have one-to-many, so one Gatekeeper project partner with various different organizations in Europe. We may have a many-to-one, whereby various Gatekeeper partners have come together to create a best practice and they share it with one organization that's external. And finally, we have a many-to-many where various Gatekeeper partners come together and they share with different organizations in Europe. What we're really aiming for here is a win-win situation whereby both the originator, so the Gatekeeper partners, and the adopters, the external organizations, which is, I hope many of you here today, really win something or achieve something through this twinning. So in the adopter case, it would most likely be the knowledge that you'll be learning about the best practice. And then for the originator organization, there are various different things that they will get out of it. Following on from this notion of what's really in it. So, okay, you've got this twinning program, but what do I really get out of it? Let's face it, twinning programs, you do have to put in a bit of work. So it's normal that you should receive something in return. So first of all, we have funding available. Up to €8,000 per Twinning partnership is available for the successful applications. Another thing that you get out of it is the knowledge exchange, this knowledge of the best practice or output that is being transferred. Obviously, networking with other organizations in Europe. It also gives you a chance to carry out dissemination, really spread the word about the work you're doing in your organization or institution to a wider audience. And again, in line with this kind of dissemination, spreading the word, it allows you to position yourself better at regional, national, or European level. So let's look a little bit at what activities can be funded through the Twinnings. So we've said each successful application will receive up to €8,000. Now, this money can be spent on the different types of activities that can be carried out. For example, are meetings, knowledge transfer meetings, meetings with local stakeholders, field visits, viability studies, cost-benefit analysis, the translation perhaps of any documentation related to the innovative practice, the hosting of dissemination events, for example, at regional level, or the preparation of reports. And the actual costs that can be claimed here is anything related to these meetings. So it would be the cost of the services, perhaps. It would be the flights, the accommodation costs in organizing any of these meetings. We just wanted to highlight that staff costs are not will not be eligible in this call. So it really is about the organization of the meeting and the preparation of the reports, not the actual staff time involved. Just to provide you with an example twinning that might occur, just to give you, for those of you who've not taken part in any twinning programs previously, month one might start with an online inception meeting, or it could even be in person if you have the budget for it within the €8,000. Month two, you might begin to prepare a field visit to see the originator organization and what they're doing. And perhaps the initial translation of documentation related to the best practice. In month three, you might carry out the actual field visit whereby the adopter visits the premises of the originator organization. Month four might include a summary where you take back, the adopter organization takes back what they've learned from the field visit and meets with local stakeholders to explain the best practice and how they can implement it in their region. And then you could start to prepare the final twinning report. Month 5 and 6 might involve the final validation meeting that can be in person, online, and even perhaps a dissemination event whereby all parties come together and explain what they've learned and showcase how it's going to be implemented in the adopter region. And then, of course, the preparation of the technical and financial reporting documents. And then the payment will be made by the Gatekeeper project to the participants in the twinning. I just wanted to highlight here that we are going to make it the reporting process as streamlined as possible to make it as easy for you to participate in the twinning. We do not want mountains and mountains of paperwork, but obviously we do have to ask you for the receipts of all the costs that have been incurred. But yes, just to highlight that we will make it as streamlined as possible. So you've heard a little bit about the twinning program, and you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great. I'm kind of interested. Where can I find more information? So if you actually go to the Gatekeeper project website, the next steps for twinning are laid out there for you. Firstly, the best thing to do would be to download the list of best practices. So the Gatekeeper partners have listed the best practices, lessons learned, outputs that we have from the Gatekeeper project. It provides the title of the best practice, a brief description, and then contact details. So you can have a look through there, see if there's anything of interest to your region, your organization, where you're working, that you would like to perhaps know more about. Then I would encourage you to download the guidelines for the guide for applicants, where it just explains a little bit about the rules that are to be followed through the Twinning program. And obviously then you can reach out to the originator organizations who own the best practices that were in the list, and try and form a Twinning partnership. If they're already working, they may have already established a Twinning partnership, so you can always ask to join onto one. Or in the case that they haven't started creating a partnership yet, you can ask them if they'd like to form one with you. And then once you have your Twinning partnership formed, so we have the originator and the adopter regions, you can then submit a joint application. This is an online application form using the EU survey tool. Again, we've tried to make it as simple as possible to use, and we really just want the key information about the Twinning. We don't want pages and pages of information. We just really ask you for the key information that we will go into in a minute. Okay, so now I just wanted to show you some examples of the best practices that we actually have in the list of the Gatekeeper list of best practices that might be of interest for you or your organization. Now, it's worth noting that some of these practices are a bit more strategic, so it might be a bit more higher level, and then there are some that actually go right down into the detail of a specific technology being used to address a specific target population. So let's have a look at them. First of all, we have a best practice focusing on the use of technology with people by people with dementia, web applications to manage chronic diseases and polypharmacy, the design and execution of large-scale pilot projects. So again, there's one that's perhaps more strategic, a bit more general, but really on how that can be done in any EU project. We then have citizen inclusion using apps and Internet of Things, the general approach to regional integrated care, and that's actually in the Spanish region. So again, a bit more higher level best practice there. We also have examples of e-coaching interventions, the Gatekeeper artificial intelligence and machine learning models, and also again, as we've already said, e-coaching interventions, this time focusing on older adults. Again, and not to go into too much detail here, but we have additional best practices on the detection of advanced Parkinson's disease using stat-on-holter device. So again, there you can see something that's quite specific, a very specific best practice there. Stakeholder-centered design for digital enabling technologies, the management of community-based care, the management of patient adherence with coaching through a coaching application, the use of digital devices for palliative care for cancer patients, and the use of virtual reality to accelerate the activation of the stroke code. So we have various different best practices depending on your interest or the work that you're carrying out within your region. The final one here, we have the challenges and opportunities of robotic interventions in domestic environments. And then last but not least, we also have 3 best practices that are a bit more transversal, that aren't specifically taken from the pilot projects, but other work that's being carried out in the project, the Gatekeeper project. For example, a best practice on the design and coordination of open calls under the Horizon 2020 Financial Support for Third Parties scheme. We also have one about design for collective use. And then finally, we have a best practice which focuses on standardization. So the use of guidelines and templates to really promote contributions from EU projects to standardization organizations. So, and again, another key piece of work being carried out in the Gatekeeper project. Okay, so now I've given you a little bit of a taster of the best practices that we have from the project. Again, more information is available in much more detail in the list of best practices, which is actually available for download on our website. And also give us a shout if you need any help in kind of navigating that list. So let's have a look at what's involved in the application form. What are we asking for information about from you once you've formed your Gatekeeper twinning partnership? Firstly, we would like a brief introduction about the title of the best practice, the type of twinning that you'll be doing, and a very brief description. A key part here is the impact. So what's the potential impact in the territory of the adopting organizations? We'll also ask you for some information on the work plan. So what activities will be carried out and when, and also the budget that you need. So you can ask for 8,000 as the lump sum, and then you will obviously receive what you spend. But we would like to know what budget you foresee, and also how that will be spent. For example, you could put 1,000 for an inception meeting, perhaps 3,000 for the field visit involving the accommodation and the travel costs, and then perhaps some money for a dissemination event at the end, and also some money assigned to the translation of documentation or the preparation of a feasibility study, for example. We'll also ask for information about the sustainability of the twinning. So really, how does it fit into the strategies, the medium and long-term strategies of the adopter organization? Is it something that's then actually going to be taken up by the adopter organizations? And finally, some information about your partnership. So really looking at the quality of the partnership and just checking that that the partners involved are involved in the delivery of health and care in Europe. So if we move on, we can look at, that's what we asked for in the applications. What we'll be looking for and evaluating the applications on is the relevance and quality of the partnership, the impact, as we've said, the implementation, and the sustainability. So each of the different sections of the application form will have a scale of 0 to 5, and there'll be a mark out of 20 at the end. This will be carried out internally by Gatekeeper partners, but will be done. We will remove the names of the proposing organization, so it will be done anonymously. And then we will publish the results around the end of December, but we'll come back to that in the timeline, which I think is the next slide. So here you go. So the call for Twinnings is now open. It will be closed on the 18th of November. So you still have, I think, just about 3 weeks to prepare your Twinning application. The internal evaluation process will take place up until the 25th of November, and we will announce the winners on 25th or just after that date, just towards the end of November. And then the idea is that the Twinnings can begin in December and they will run through to May 2023. So we want to give you at least 6 months to carry out the activities that you've programmed in your work plan. So I've tried to give you an overview of the Gatekeeper Twinning program. I hope I've succeeded. However, I'm very interested in hearing your questions, any doubts you may have about the program. If you need any help at all in finding partners or contacting the originator organizations, then please do reach out to me. And we will help you in any way possible to really make sure that these twinning partnerships actually come together. Just likewise, if you have any doubts, you can also reach out to me by email, or you have a chance now to ask me your questions. So let's have a look at the question and answer form. Lydia, can you see? I can't see if there's any questions here. Oh, here we go. So there's no questions at the moment. I can't see if anyone's has their hand raised. If anyone would like has a question, please write it in the question and answers box. It should be on your screen in the lower part. Or if you'd like to ask me a question live now, then please just raise your hand and I'll just enable your microphone so you can speak. Okay, we've had a question come through. So we have one question, which is, can all parts of the twinning be held online? Are physical field sites actually needed? Will the GTKPR plan a combined dissemination event around May, June 2023? So can all parts of the Twinnings be held online? The answer is yes. Please, you're welcome to carry out your twinning as you feel necessary. We do find that kind of sometimes the field visits or in-person visits, you can see what's going on, see how the best practice has perhaps been implemented and can be a little bit more beneficial. But again, that is up to you. So please do that as you feel. Just know that obviously we can't assign the same amount of money to, you're welcome to request the money, but you just have to explain in your budget outline what you would spend the money on. And online events obviously don't incur any travel costs. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And then we have, will Gatekeeper plan a combined dissemination event around May, June 2023? We don't have that currently in the schedule. The idea would be for each of the Twinnings to perhaps do their own dissemination event, but we can definitely look into the chance or the opportunity to bring you all together to showcase what you've done in the Twinnings. That's not a problem. We can definitely organize something there, but it's not currently scheduled, so I don't want to promise anything. Then we have, what organizations are not eligible to apply for the program? So I think it's probably best to go through the organizations that are eligible. So we're really looking for any organization that's involved in the research, in the implementation, the management, or participates in the delivery of health and care in Europe. So we're looking for European-based organizations. They can be private or public sector. That's not a problem. But we do look for involvement in the delivery of health and care in Europe, whether that's at regional, national, local level. We do look for an involvement there from you. So I hope that's clear. Are UK organisations eligible to apply? That's a very good question. We have actually just reached out to, we do have involved in the Gatekeeper project, we do have UK pilots. We are just double checking that. We're double checking that right now with the project management team, just to ensure that that's okay and they are eligible. But what I'll do, if you drop me an email, I can write to you as soon as I have that answer. I don't want to give an actual answer now because we don't have the final decision on that, but that is a very good question and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Are there any further questions now? Would anyone like to ask their question live, perhaps? From our side, we just really hope that you have a look at the best practices and find something that could be of interest to your organization. I think these partnerships are very beneficial, and it also leads to further collaborations through research projects or other initiatives in the future. So I think highlighting the kind of the networking and really forming part of this community can be extremely beneficial for both parties. Okay, is there any more? Oh, here we go. Yeah, we can, what we'll do, we're gonna upload this presentation and the video of today's webinar to the Gatekeeper YouTube channel. We can also upload the presentation to the Gatekeeper website, so it's there for you to have a look at. However, all of the information is available in the guide for applicants that is available for download on the Gatekeeper website. And then if you have any other issues, you can always follow up via email. There's contacts. My contact information is available on the Gatekeeper website under the call for twinning section. Just one more minute to see if there's any more questions coming through. Anybody else have anything to ask? Any doubts? Anything that's not quite clear? Okay, I don't want to keep you any longer than necessary. Again, the whole of the Gatekeeper team is here to help you. We really do hope that you participate, and just please get in touch if you have any questions. Thank you very much, and have a great Friday.